go ahead and call this meeting to order. If we would please have our city clerk read the remote meeting instructions.
Pursuant to Governor Inslee's emergency proclamation regarding suspending certain provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act during the COVID-19 outbreak, the Toppenish City Council will not accept in-person public comments. All members of the public wanting to comment on City Council agenda items may submit written comments to include your name and address for the record in advance by email to cityclerk@cityoftoppenish.us by 4 p.m. on March 8, 2021 to be read during the meeting. Call in information for listen only mode is 253-215-8782, meeting ID 823-6926-2912, passcode 643960. Email cityclerk@cityoftoppenish.us or call 509-865-6754 with questions.
Okay, if we'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And if our city clerk would please give the roll call.
Mayor Oakes,
And here.
Mayor Pro Tem Saavedra,
Here.
Councilmember Belton,
Here.
Councilmember Seha,
Here.
Councilmember Duval,
Here.
Councilmember Garcia,
Here.
Councilmember Jimenez.
Present.
Let the record show we have full attendance and a quorum.
Thank you. We'll move it on to item 3, approve the agenda.
I make a motion that we go ahead and approve the agenda in its entirety.
I second that.
A motion on the floor from Councilwoman Jimenez and seconded by Councilwoman Mayor Pro Tem Saavedra to approve the agenda tonight as presented. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? We'll move on to item 4. Advanced public comments received by 4 p.m. on March 8th, 2021 to be read by staff at the meeting.
Mayor, let the record show the city did not receive public comment by the stated deadline.
Thank you. And we'll move on to item 5, the consent agenda. All matters on the consent agenda have been provided to each council member for review and are considered to be routine or have been previously discussed and will be adopted by one motion and vote without discussion. However, if a council member desires, any item on this agenda will be discussed before any action is taken on it. Item 5A, approved minutes of the February 22nd, 2021 regular council meeting. 5B, approved minutes of the March 1st, 2021 study session. 5C, approved payroll checks numbered 35216 through 35227 and the electronic transfer in the total amount of $154,892.10 dated March 3rd, 2021. Item 5D, approved claims check numbered 93355 through 93408 and EFTAP 3-2021 and EFTAP 256 in the total amount of $359,443.16 dated March 8th, 2021. I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve consent agenda in its entirety.
And I'll second that.
Thank you. I have a motion on the floor from Councilman Belton, seconded by Councilwoman Duvall to approve the consent agenda in its entirety. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we'll move on to new business. Item 6A, AB 21-014, Resolution 2021-11, approved telecommunications franchise consent. City Manager Hoyt.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. Before you is Resolution 2021-11, and there's an AB that accompanies that. It's speaking to LS Networks, Lightspeed Networks. They own a telecommunication network inside the city limits of Toppenish. We penned a franchise agreement with them back in 2012. And if you look on the last page of the agenda, there's a map that shows that general area where they run. My map, the lines are pretty small in it, but you can see it's basically a wholesale telecom fiber optic company that's putting in a footprint inside the city of Toppenish. They recently were sold, or in the process of selling part of their assets to Instar AGF Asset Management, who are a partnership with Pacific Broadband Partners. Anyway, what they're doing is selling part of their stock to create to generate capital so they can move forward and do expansions and do better maintenance of their lines. They are a major group inside the state of Oregon, and they've got a few places up here in Washington, and we're one of those. So this we had this operation, or this selling of stock reviewed by Scott Snyder from Ogden Murphy Wallace. He's the attorney that's been helping us with our telecom issues that we have, and we also had the resolution reviewed by Gary Coulier, our city attorney. I'm told from Mr. Snyder that this is he's reviewed this franchise action and recommends that the council approve the transfer. In our franchise, it says that if there's any sale of assets to a certain level, the city would have to approve those. So he's suggesting that we go forward with that approval. There's no financial impact to the city, and hopefully that, and no detriment to the city. And basically what this does is gives them a bigger opportunity to enlarge and improve their telecom framework. So what we have is a motion to approve resolution 2021-11, authorizing the city manager to sign Exhibit A, consent to transfer of LS Network stock to Instar AGF Asset Management, Inc. Are there any questions?
Move to approve resolution 2021-11.
Second.
Motion on the floor from Councilman Belton, seconded by Councilwoman Jimenez, to approve resolution 2021-11, approve telecommunication franchise consent for transfer. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, we move on to 6. Set agenda for the April 5th, 2021 study session. City Manager Hoyt.
Thank you, Mayor. I've got 3 topics to date that we could review at study session. One would be the police chief recruitment. Because our next study session is the 1st of April. By that time, the police chief recruitment applications will close on the 21st, and there'll be some review of applicants by then, and we be ready for probably a pretty good update by April 1st.
Many
Then,
people have applied already? Do you know if people have applied already?
yes, there are some applicants, but I don't know who they are. As far as I know, I think there's 3. But this is pretty much at the beginning of the stage, and they assure me that most of the applications come in the last 5 days. So that's coming up. They have a application, some questions they have to answer, and some other information that they have to divulge. So the second item that could be on there would be the Public Works facility. We know that we had gone to add, and the bids came in higher than our engineer's estimate. So we've revisited that scope of work and reduced some of the amenities and items on that Public Works facility bid. And that should go back out to add. Hopefully by the end of the week, we can get that out so we can take advantage of this year's construction season. And the third thing would be the YVCOG, Department of Commerce, community outreach programs. We had a presentation from Chris Wickenhaven about the YVCOG housing survey to find out what needs we have in Toppenish. We know that kind of complements the community outreach program with Department of Commerce. So we'll be having a phone conference on Thursday to discuss if we could blend those 2 projects. They're very similar, however, they're not the same. But I think that the outreach efforts can, both programs can take advantage of the data that we're going to collect through this process. And that's what I have so far for the study session. Does anyone else have a thought or anything? Okay, so we'll define that a little closer at the next council meeting, but those are the 3 options, or all of them.
Okay. We'll move on to item 7. Council meeting reports and community announcements. Start with Councilman Belton.
I have nothing to report for the good of the order.
Councilman Garcia.
Nothing to report.
Councilman Seha.
Nothing to report.
Councilwoman Jimenez.
Nothing to report.
Councilwoman Duvall.
Yes, thank you. I just have 2 things to report. One, as City Manager Lance was saying, the YVCOG Housing Equity Survey. If you do not have a computer and you would like a paper copy, I do have paper copies. Let me know and I will take it to you. My email is nyla.duval@cityoftopenish.us. So please get a hold of me if you would like a paper copy. I also have another announcement because it is International Women's Day. In light of that, I want to let people know, especially women that are interested in running for local office or want to support this year's candidates, there's an event being held through Zoom where you can learn more about that. There will be 5 women, including myself as panelists, to, I guess, give you information on how you would do that. It is Wednesday, March 31st from 6 to 7 p.m. via Zoom. And I'll be sharing that link. I think you have to pre-register for it as well on my Facebook. Okay. That's everything.
All right, thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Saavedra.
I have nothing to report.
And I have nothing to report. Move on to item 8, managers reports.
I've got a few things to share. The West First Street sidewalk project and the Safe Routes to School project, we're hoping to go to add toward the end of this month, if not the 1st of April. There's numerous requirements from either federal or state funding from the Department of Transportation We know that we approved the local agency agreements last week at the last council meeting. However, there's another form now that we need to approve, and hopefully we can get that approved by WashDOT and their administration so we can go forward with the projects. With WashDOT being out of the office, they're pretty much virtual right now. It slows that approval process down. So we're hoping to get those completed in the very near future. How about an update on the extreme weather shelter? As you know, it's a 24-hour shelter now. In the last week, they've been averaging 46 beds a night filled. Their bed count is 50, so they're pretty much there. Back when we had the snow and the very cold weather, they were at the full 50, and they had overflow, and they diverted that to Camp Hope. So they are able to get those people up to Camp Hope and in those areas up there. Yakima County got some tents and military structures that they put in here last fall, so they're getting those put up. And we're hoping that, well, the last day for our extreme weather shelter will be March 31st, and at that time it'll close. And they have a total of 23 people so far that are interested in moving up to those new areas up at Camp Hope. And so maybe by the next couple of weeks, they'll get more people interested in going up there. They did a community outreach or cleanup basically last week, and they got 15 bags of garbage off the street in the area around the farm workers and West First. And so that helps a little bit. And they're very appreciative of our police and fire department. If they ever need them, they have a short response, and they're also very appreciative of Officer Ryan Castaneda. He does some outreach services. He stops by while he's on duty and visits with the people, and that just helps create a positive relationship with that group of people in our police department in our city. So we thank him for doing that. The next item I have is there'll be an open house for the Shoreline Master Program Thursday. Where is that? It'll be Thursday, March 11th from 6 to 7 o'clock. It'll be a Zoom meeting. If anyone's interested in attending, they can go to either the YVCOG website and look for that, or go on our website. It's now posted. Judy Duvall posted that on our website. When your website first comes up, we have new city business is the first page. There's a small bleep there that says Shoreline Master Plan. You can click on that, and you can find all the dates of any and all public outreaches and any data, and as well as that plan that's in review. Then let's see. YVCOG's general membership meeting will be next Wednesday on the 17th from 5:50 is when they'll be opening the virtual meeting, and the business starts at 6 o'clock. We won't have another meeting by that time. So when that's sent out from Jody, we'll share that with council. Let's see, talked about the YVCOG advancing health equality through housing, and the Department of Commerce outreach program. We'll have a call Thursday to discuss that, whether that can go forward. Everyone seems to be said it to be a positive partnership, so we're hoping to have good news there. And at the last meeting, there was a question was brought up about our developmental review fee. Our administrative service director, Debbie Zabel, did a memo. I think, Heidi, you sent that out to all council. Basically what it is, as you remember, back in 2017, City Council established engineering and land use deposit program for the purposes of offsetting costs associated with reviews. And basically they were for outside consultant reviews that are required for developer projects. There were two projects. Remember, one was for engineering, the other was in land use. Those were blended, I think last year, into just a developmental review fee. That's $2,500 for that fee. And that's to cover everything from the hearing examiner, the city attorney's review, city planner review, city engineer review, pending what the project is and the size of the scope. In these land use applications and zoning reviews for commercial and multifamily projects, we require the professional planner to review, and then we consult with YV-COG to help us with that professional planner requirements. Our commercial stuff for family and other items revolve around civil engineering. We refer that to HLA for our assistance there. And that is a $2,500 cost. Projects or scopes are all over the board. Some are large, some are small. If the total cost of that review is less than $2,500, there's a return of the balance. And if it becomes more complicated, or it's a larger project that requires more review, the developer would have to maybe pay more money if that deposit runs out. And that's under, if I can get the paper over here. That's the development review fee is under our code under 17.24.020 and 285030D. So if you'd like to review that a little closer, if you have any questions, you can contact myself or Debbie Zabel. And thanks, Debbie, for that memo. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you, City Manager Hoyt. Moving on to item 9, which is adjournment. We will adjourn.
Later, Gator.
Later, guys.
Everyone.
Well, good night.